This is a story from 1999, when I went to stay with my grandmother during the holidays. I was 13 years old, bored, restless, and unhappy about spending winter break in a town so small it barely showed up on maps. My grandmother's house sat at the edge of that town, an old two-story place with peeling white paint, narrow windows, and a basement that never quite smelled right. The room I stayed in belonged to my aunt, who had died there during her teenage years. That was the first thing my grandmother told me when she handed me a thin blanket and pointed me down the hallway. She said it casually. Too casually. The room felt wrong the moment I stepped inside. The air was colder than the rest of the house, and the walls were painted a dull pink that had faded unevenly over time. The bed creaked when I sat on it, and the closet door was slightly open, just enough to make me uneasy. I asked my grandmother how my aunt had died. She paused, then said, "She was sick. A fever. A long time ago. That was it. No details. No emotion." That night I couldn't sleep. The house groaned with age, every sound stretching too long in the darkness. Around 12:30 a.m. I heard something that didn't belong. A soft thump. Then another. It sounded like it came from beneath the floor. The basement. I tried to ignore it, pulling the blanket over my head, telling myself it was pipes or mice or my imagination. But then came the whispering. At first, it was so faint I thought it was the wind pushing through cracks in the walls. But it wasn't random. It was rhythmic. Like someone trying to speak, quietly. I listened harder. That's when I realized the whispers weren't coming from outside. They were coming from below me. The next morning, I asked my grandmother about the basement. She stiffened. "There's nothing down there," she said. "And you're not allowed to go." That should have been enough. It wasn't. That afternoon, while she was out grocery shopping, I found the basement door at the end of the kitchen hallway. It was locked with an old brass latch, but the wood around it was cracked from years of use. I hesitated. Then I heard it again. A whisper. Clearer now. "Come play." My hands were shaking as I opened the door. The basement stairs were narrow and steep, the light bulb at the bottom flickering like it might die at any second. Every step creaked under my weight, the sound echoing too loudly in the confined space. Halfway down, the smell hit me, dust, mildew, and something sour beneath it. Then I saw it. In the far corner of the basement, sitting upright on a wooden crate, was a doll. It was old. Its porcelain face was cracked, one eye slightly lower than the other. Its dress was once white, now yellowed with age. Long strands of hair hung unevenly from its scalp. And it was facing me. I didn't remember seeing it move. But I knew it hadn't been facing the stairs before. I ran back up, slammed the door shut, and locked it. That night, the whispering was louder. When the doll was in the basement, I used to hear whispering sounds. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but then they started becoming scary. The whispers called my name, over and over. At exactly 12:30 a.m., the third night, I woke up unable to move. My eyes were open, my body frozen. The room felt colder than ever. Then I heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, stopping outside my door. The handle turned. My bedroom door creaked open just an inch, and I heard a child's voice whisper right beside my ear. "Why did you leave me down there?" I screamed. The next morning, my grandmother looked exhausted. Dark circles hung under her eyes. "You've been having bad dreams," she said flatly. I told her about the doll. Her face strained of color. She told me never to speak of it again. That same day, I noticed something new. The basement door was open, and the doll was gone. That night was the worst. The whispers weren't below me anymore. They were in the hallway, in the walls, inside the room. I heard soft dragging sounds across the floorboards. Then I felt it. A weight on the edge of the bed. I didn't open my eyes. I couldn't. But I smelled old fabric, dust, and something rotten. A child giggled. Then silence. The next morning, I demanded the truth. That's when my grandmother finally broke. She told me my aunt hadn't died from sickness. She said she'd been found in that room, lifeless, her eyes wide open, and the doll sitting at the foot of her bed. I left the house 2 days later. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Years later, after my grandmother passed away, I returned for the funeral. That's when I met him. He lived in the basement. A thin, frail 60-year-old man. My grandmother's brother. No one had ever mentioned him. He told me he stayed hidden. That he brought her groceries, helped when she needed it, and worked at a nearby store. When I told him everything that had happened during the night all those years ago, he nodded slowly. "I know all of this," he said. My stomach dropped. "I also know the real reason behind your aunt's death," he continued. "It was that doll. We just don't tell anyone. I've seen everything myself. She was a small child, and she used to play with it." I asked him where the doll was now. He looked toward the basement stairs and whispered, "It's never left the house." That night, as I slept in a hotel miles away, my phone buzzed at 12:30 a.m. One new voicemail. Static. A faint whisper. "Come play."